Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about a framework that could honestly change how you look at success. We're going way beyond just money to explore what it really means to be wealthy in every sense of the word. So, let's just start with a really big question right out of the gate. Seriously, take a second and think about this one. Is the life you're living right now something you consciously created? Or are you kind of following a script that was handed to you by society, your parents, your job? The answer to that is really the starting point for everything else we're about to get into.
So here's the game plan for this explainer. We'll start by asking if you're even playing the right game in life. Then we'll introduce the 5 pillars of wealth. We'll break down your internal world, your time and your mind, then your external world of relationships and health. And finally, we'll redefine what financial wealth really means and, of course, how to try and balance it all.
Okay, first up, are you playing the wrong game? You know, this part is for anyone out there who feels like they're checking all the boxes they're supposed to, but still feels like something's off.
Let's do a quick gut check. Does any of this sound a little too familiar? You're absolutely crushing it at work, but you're missing dinner with a family again. You're always busy, but it doesn't feel like you're actually getting anywhere important. Your health is kind of taking a back seat, and you honestly can't remember the last time you had a quiet moment just for you. If you're nodding along to any of these, it's a huge sign that your definition of success might be way too narrow.
See, the problem probably isn't your effort. It's the scorecard you're using. When you chase just one thing, like your career, at the expense of everything else, you're just setting yourself up for burnout. The real takeaway here is simple. It's time for a new scorecard.
And that leads us right into the main idea of this whole thing, the 5 pillars of wealth. This is that new scorecard. It's a much more complete, holistic way to think about and design a life that isn't just successful on paper, but one that feels genuinely good to live.
And here it is. This visual really says it all, doesn't it? True wealth isn't just about that one slice of the pie labeled financial. No way. It's the beautiful balance between all 5. Your time, your mind, your relationships, your health, and your finances. When these things are working together in harmony, now that's what I call being truly wealthy.
All right, so let's dive into those first 2 pillars. These are all about your internal world, the foundation for everything else. We're talking about your time and your mind. Just let that question sink in for a minute. Time wealth isn't about packing more hours into the day. It's about the quality of the time you actually have. How many of your moments are you truly present, at peace, and living with intention?
And this right here breaks down exactly where that quality time is so critical. Time with your family is finite, so you have to cherish it. Time with friends literally shapes who you become, so choose them wisely. Time with your partner is one of the biggest investments you'll ever make. And this is so important. Time alone isn't wasted time. It's absolutely essential for knowing yourself.
This focus on quality time flows right into our next pillar, mental wealth. And this question just gets right to the core of it. Would the 10-year-old version of you be excited about the person you grew up to be? That's what mental wealth is all about, that inner feeling of happiness, purpose, and peace. So, how do you actually build that mental strength? Well, it kind of boils down to these 3 keys. First, find your purpose, that sweet spot where what you love, what you're good at, and what the world needs all come together. Second, you got to commit to growth, to always be learning. And third, you have to create space for yourself. You need that quiet time to just reflect and figure out who you really are.
So, now that we've covered the internal world, let's talk about the external pillars that hold it all up, your relationships and your physical health.
This is absolutely huge. For decades, Harvard researchers followed people's lives. And you know what they found? It wasn't fame, it wasn't money that predicted happiness and a long life. It was the quality of their relationships. Social wealth isn't just a nice to have. It's basically a biological need that affects every other part of your life.
And this slide just makes the mindset difference so clear. Happy, socially wealthy people invest in other people. They love people, and they use things. Unhappy people, so often they do the exact opposite. They love things, and they use people to get them. It's just a totally fundamental difference in how you approach life. Man, this question about physical wealth is so powerful. It forces you to think about the choices you make today in the context of your future self. The habits you're building right now are literally designing the kind of 80-year-old you're going to be. And the formula for that healthy future? It's surprisingly simple, even if it's not always easy to stick to. It really just comes down to 3 basic habits: consistent movement, good quality recovery through sleep, and fueling your body with real, whole foods. I mean, think about it. Without this pillar, everything else suffers. Your ability to earn money, to be there for loved ones, to think clearly. it all goes down.
All right, let's get to it. Let's talk about the one pillar that everybody thinks of when they hear the word wealth: money. But we're going to come at it from a totally different direction.
This right here is the single most important financial question you will ever ask yourself. In a world that is constantly screaming more, the most powerful thing you can do is define your own personal enough. If you don't have a finish line, you'll be stuck on that hamster wheel forever, probably sacrificing the other 4 pillars of your life to stay on it.
Okay, so how do you define what's enough for you? You can start with these questions. Answering them helps you paint a really clear picture of the life you actually want to pay for. It turns that vague desire for more money into a real, tangible target. This is what financial freedom really is, having enough to live the life that you designed.
Okay, we've laid out all 5 pillars. Now for the final, and maybe the most important piece of the puzzle, putting it all together through the art of balancing.
And here is the biggest takeaway of this entire thing. This is not about achieving some kind of perfect, static balance every single day. That's not how life works, right? Sometimes your career is going to demand more, other times your family will. The real goal isn't perfection, it's awareness. It's having the wisdom to zoom out, look at all 5 of your pillars, and know which one needs a little TLC right now. And that brings us to our final thought. As we wrap this up, just ask yourself honestly, looking at your own life right now, which one of these pillars is calling out for your attention? Is it your time, your health, your relationships? The very first step to designing a truly wealthy life is just knowing where you need to start.